Hello everyone and welcome to the Fintelligent Investor series by Rupai Financial Services. I'm CA Pratiksha Pai.
And I'm CA Sanket Naik.
Happy and then better. There. Mother. And there. After that. This is time. Get the bus.
This is our 15 into 5 series. This is like on 15th of August, we start this series for 5 consecutive days. We take 5 topics of basic interest and we talk about 15 important points on each of these topics. So 15 into 5 is equal to 75 and this is how we celebrate our 75th Independence Day.
Please. Like. Share. Share.
When a girl child is born in a family, the parents, of course, after all the celebrations and all this, what is the next thing that the parents will think? That we have to somehow plan financially for her higher education and marriage. These are sometimes the basic 2 points, the basic 2 necessities that every Indian parent will definitely feel for their girl child. And to address this, there is a very good scheme by the government of India, and today we are going to discuss about this scheme, the SSY scheme. So SSY, Sanket, we also have a daughter and we have also done a SSY account for her. So can you tell us what is this SSY scheme?
Definitely. SSY, that is Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, is a scheme by the government of India to help parents plan for the higher education as well as the marriage of a girl child. So can you tell us what are the eligibility norms for opening this SSY account?
So as the name itself stands, it is Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. So there itself we get to know that this scheme is eligible only for girl children. Okay, so it is not available for son, male child. It is eligible only for a female child. So the basic eligibility norms are that it should be a girl child and up to 10 years of age and a resident Indian. So what do I mean when I say up to 10 years of age? So as soon as a girl child is born and you get her birth certificate, you can immediately go and open this scheme for your daughter. Or if at that point of time it has not happened also, you have time till the child completes 10 years of age. So if she is 9.5 also, you can go and open this account for your girl child.
So how many of these accounts can be opened per child and per family? Is there any restriction?
Yes. So per girl child, you can open only one SSY account. So if for our Kiara, we can open only one SSY account in her name. But how many accounts can you open per family? Okay. So now say if we have 2 daughters, we can open 2 accounts. That's the maximum per family. Per family, you can only open 2 SSY accounts. However, there are some exemptions and exceptions to this rule as well. Say first you have a daughter and the second birth when it happens, it is twin daughters. So now you have 3 daughters in your family and it is not under your control if the second birth is twins. In that case, you can open for the twins as well as the first daughter, that is 3 accounts per family. Or say in the first birth itself, there are triplet daughters. Then also you can open 3 accounts per family. But say you have triplets, say you have twins in the beginning and then again there is a second birth and there is a daughter, then you cannot open for that second birth, for the second kid. Only the first 2 twins will have their SSY accounts. So the maximum limit per family is 2 and the exceptions I already told, and per kid it is just one SSY account. So Sanket, can you tell us where we can open this SSY accounts?
Yes, definitely. So you can open them either at post offices or with any of the authorized banks. These include public sector banks as well as certain private banks as well.
So Sanket, can you tell us what are the documents required for opening this SSY account?
Yes, definitely. So one basic document is the birth certificate of the girl child. That is the very basic document required. In addition, it is the ID and address proof, the KYC documents of the guardian, the parent. Their documents will be required for opening the SSY account.
So you say the parent or the guardian, is it? Okay.
Right, that's correct.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, what is the maximum and minimum? Is there something prescribed here? Is there some minimum amount which you need to deposit, and is there a maximum cap here?
Yes. When you open an SSY account, there is a set of restrictions as to what is the minimum amount of contribution that you need to do in a year, and what is the maximum limit up to which you can contribute in a year. So the minimum initial deposit that you need to do, and every year that you need to do a minimum deposit, is of 250 rupees. So it's actually very, very affordable, right?
Definitely.
And the maximum that you can do in a year is 1.5 lakh rupees. So you cannot deposit more than 1.5 lakhs. Okay. So here one important point is that when I say minimum deposit is 250 rupees per annum, say you can do any amount of investment in the range of this 250 to 1.5 lakhs. But whatever you invest should be in multiples of 50. So if the minimum is 250, you cannot say that I will do 260, or if the maximum is 1.5 lakhs, you cannot tell that I'll do 1,49,990. No, it should always be in the multiples of 50. Okay. And one more thing that I want to add over here is that suppose there is some technical error, okay, and if you make a deposit in excess of 1,50,000 rupees in any year. Remember, I said that the maximum limit is 1.5 lakhs. But due to any technical error, if the system accepts more than 1.5 lakh rupees, then you will not get any interest on that additional amount, and that ironical amount, whatever is there, it will be refunded back to you. So it just does not accept anything beyond 1.5 lakhs. But if any error is there, if they get also, you will not get that interest on that additional amount, and it will be refunded back to you. So Sanket, can you let us know what is the time duration of this scheme?
Yes, here there are two timelines which you need to keep in mind. Unlike other schemes like PPF, here there is an investment timeline wherein you can invest for 15 years from the time of opening of the account. And what happens here is after 15 years, the account doesn't get matured. There is another timeline in relation to maturity. 21 years from the original account opening date is the timeline for the maturity of the account. So even after the 15-year timeline, you need not have to invest, but you cannot still withdraw the money in normal scenario. You will have to wait for the 21 years from the original date.
So it means that after that investment period of 15 years, you cannot invest, but the money is locked in.
Correct.
And it is locked in up to the completion of 21 years from the beginning.
Correct. So can you tell me what is the interest rate here and what is the type of interest which you will be getting here?
Right now, the going rate of interest on this scheme is 7.6%. So if you note, the going rate of interest on PPF is 7.1%. And it's been seen that SSY is always giving 0.5% higher than PPF. Okay. And the type of interest is compound interest. So if you've seen our PPF video, we've already told that the person who understands compound interest earns it, and the person who doesn't understand compound interest ends up paying it. So the beauty of compound interest is that if for 15 years you have invested this 1.5 lakh every year for 15 years, then with this compound interest at the end of the 21st year of maturity, which you mentioned, maturity period is 21 years. So for 15 years, if you put in 1.5 lakhs, it is 22.5 lakhs worth of investment. But with the compound interest methodology, at the end of 21 years, you can earn up to 75 lakhs. Okay, so that was when the interest was 8.5%. I think that working was coming out. Now the interest is 7.6. So, but still, the compounding interest beauty is that your interest is so much higher, more than double almost of your investment value. Yeah, so this is the very beautiful thing, both in relation to PPF as well as SSY. And the better thing for SSY is 0.5% interest more. So someone may think that just 0.5% more. So what difference does it make? It makes a huge difference. Okay, it makes a huge difference because it is compound interest. So, Sanket, can you let us know how to operate this SSY accounts? Because see, it is in the name of a girl child and it is opened before the child has attained 10 years of age. So, the child is a minor, and in some cases, it may be that in the middle of the investment period, the child may become a major. So, how to go about the operating of these accounts?
Yes, definitely. So when the child is a minor, what happens is it is operated by the guardians. In mostly it is the parents here who operate the account. When the child becomes a major, then the child has to give their documents to the bank or post office, whoever is running this account, and post that the major themselves operate the account. So for example, let's say a child opens the account when she's just born, by the parents open the account in such cases, or let's say when she's 10 years old. So up till the age of 18 the parents will operate the account, but once the child attains majority, then it is the child herself first to operate the account.
So, say a parent gets to know about SSY and opens SSY account for a kid when the kid is 8 years of age. Then, how do you think? I mean, the investment period itself is 15 years. So, in 10 years, the child will attain majority, that is 18 years of age, and still 5 more years of investment period itself. I'm not even talking about maturity. So, till the child is 23, the investment period itself will be there. So, at the age of 18, the child can submit her own KYC documents. And
Yes.
for the rest 5 years, the child herself can, the child will be turning into a major, and that child herself can operate the accounts, right?
Yes, definitely, that's the case.
Okay.
So can you let viewers know, is there any option for premature closure of this account in case there is some urgent requirement?
So, first of all, you cannot withdraw from this account for at least 5 years from the opening of this account, and of course, the maturity period is 21. However, in certain cases, there can be a premature closure of this account. That means you don't have to wait for any tenure of this 21 years and all that. So, when can a SSY account be prematurely closed? Okay, first, there are two major instances where this happens. One is in the unfortunate event of the death of the account holder, that is the girl child. Okay, then after the death, the documents can be submitted and this account can be closed, and whatever available balances will be there will be handed over. The second instance is where the child is having any life threatening disease and requires the funds for the medical treatment. So then and if there is no other way of getting the funds, then on compassionate grounds, her SSY account will be closed and the funds will be handed over for her medical treatment. So these are the two instances where the SSY account can go for a premature closure. So Sanket, can you tell me if there are any withdrawal norms? Like, if suppose we don't have to wait till the end of maturity period, is there any norm wherein I can withdraw before the end of the maturity period but not close the account?
Yes, there is a provision, and withdrawal is only for the purpose of higher education and not for any other purposes. At the time of the child attaining 18 years or clearing her 10th standard, whichever is earlier, you can go for a withdrawal, and the withdrawal is restricted to 50% of the balance in the account at the close of the earlier financial year at the time of you applying for the withdrawal application. And here what happens is the withdrawal should be accompanied by some proof. It is not that you can just make a withdrawal application without any basis. You will need to either give the fee related details, and it will be restricted to that amount itself, and you can do this either in a lump sum or you can do this in installments as well, but the installments are one installment per year subject to a maximum of 5 years.
Okay, so we have to provide proofs.
Correct.
And only for higher education a withdrawal can be done.
That's right.
Okay.
So what happens at the end of the maturity period of 21 years?
Yes, so as Sanket has mentioned earlier, the investment period is 15 years and the maturity period is 6 years more. So it is 21 years. So what happens at the end of this 21 years? At the end of this 21 years, the account gets closed and the child gets, of course, even if you open this account at the time of birth of the child also, the child will be major only. So she will get all the funds that are available in this account at the end of this maturity period of 21 years. But let us say that there is one small exception to this. Say you open the child's account when she's 10 years of age. What will happen? 10 plus 21, at the time of maturity the child will be 31 years of age. And what I told at the beginning of the video, this scheme is to help parents to financially plan for their child's, for their daughters' higher education and marriage. Okay, so as Sanket told, withdrawal for higher education is allowed. Now, if the child is getting married before this maturity period of 21 years, then they can make an application for closure. It won't be called premature closure, it will be called closure on maturity. Okay, and the child can make a application to close that account if it is for the purposes of marriage. Okay, so then they don't have to wait for that 21 years, but the daughter, she has to provide proof saying that she has completed 18 years of age. Okay, and that she is getting married. And also this account cannot be closed before 1 month of marriage date. So say the marriage is going to take place on 15th of March, then they can close the account in the range of 15th February to 15th March. And on the other side, this account cannot again be closed after in the range of after 3 months of marriage. So 15th March means 15th April, May, June. So if the marriage is on 15th March, after 15th June they can't tell that I got married and I want to close. So that is that time range. Okay, before 1 month of marriage up to 3 months of completion of marriage, the daughter can go and tell that it is my marriage and I want to close this account. Okay, and suppose that doesn't happen during the time duration of this account, then of course it will get matured after 21 years from the date of opening the account. So if the account has been opened as soon as the child is born, as soon as the birth certificate is received, then maybe let's say 6 months, when the child is 6 months. So at the time of maturity the child will be 21 years and 6 months, and the account will mature and close by itself. And the only small exception is if the maturity period, the maturity date is beyond the date of marriage, then it can be closed on the occasion of marriage of the daughter, and whatever the funds will be available will be handed over and can be used for marriage purposes. So Sanket, can you tell us the tax implications in respect of the SSY account regarding the investments made, the interest earned and the maturity proceeds received?
Yes, definitely. It's an triple EEE scheme, exempt, exempt and exempt. So what am I talking about? So the interest which accrues, that is exempt. Also the contribution which you are making is deductible under ATC. However, you have to keep in mind the ATC overall limits. If there are other things, you don't get anything extra, but this entire amount qualifies under ATC.
Limited to 1.5 lakhs.
Yes. Also, if you have other items in ATC, the overall provision of 1.5 lakh applies. Also, the maturity amount is also exempt. There is no tax applicable on this. So that is why it's a triple E scheme. Exempt, exempt, exempt.
Not entertainment.
Not in this regard.
But yeah, exempt is as fantastic as entertainment, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that there is a minimum deposit amount. Let's say someone fails to deposit this amount in case there is a default. So what happens? What is the procedure there and what are the consequences?
So we discussed that the minimum deposit is 250 rupees. So now if someone defaults to pay the 250 rupees also, then that SSY account will be treated as an account under default. Okay. So what is this, the end of the SSY journey? No. An account under default can be regularized and a deactivated account can be reactivated. How? So what you do is, till the end of the investment period time range, so whatever number of defaults you have done, number of years of defaults you have done, till the completion of 15 years, what you can do is you can regularize that account by paying a small sum of amount. What is that sum of amount? 50 rupees in respect of each year of default, and Also the minimum deposit in relation to each year of default, that is 250 rupees. So 250 rupees plus 50 rupees as a penalty. So 300 rupees per year of default you can pay, and you can get your account regularized or reactivated. So in case you fail to pay even the 250 rupees in any year, due to maybe, this can happen majorly because someone has forgotten to pay. Okay, so if that happens, then don't think that it's the end of the SSY journey. It's just an account under default which you can regularize by paying 300 rupees, that is 50 of penalty and 250 of minimum deposit for each year of default. So as the last point discussion, 15th point, we have been talking about PPF, and we have been talking about SSY, and we have been talking about EEE scheme. So PPF and SSY both are EEE. So I think this warrants a discussion whether this SSY versus PPF, what is good from the point, keeping in from point of view of a girl child. So if a boy child is born, we have done a video on minors PPF, on minors taxation, etc. Our viewers can definitely watch that. But when it's a girl child, how do we go about it? Is the PPF good for her or SSY? So what is your pointers on this?
Yeah, definitely. So for a girl child, SSY is definitely useful, and some points may look disadvantages, but it could be an advantage as well. See, for example, there are restrictions on the withdrawals, whereas in PPF you can withdraw the amounts, you can take a loan on the amounts, whereas in SSI it's not there. But you can take this as a positive as well, because whatever money you retain here, you earn compound interest. So
and also the target is definitely higher education and marriage.
Correct.
So withdrawal and closure is also limited only to that.
Definitely. So the idea at the end of the day is that to promote higher education among women or girl child, so that if there is any shortage of money, this scheme should help to promote people to save for that reason.
And also, but one thing advantages in PPF is that you get loan at 1%.
Yes, but yes, we have to look at it that the objectives of both of these schemes are different.
Correct.
So a PPF's objective is different, whereas this objective is a bit different. Also, there are age restrictions here. So in PPF there is no age restriction. You can do it at
any age.
Whereas here that 10 years age restriction is there. All these things are there. But this is a different scheme. That is a different scheme. That's what we need to keep
also
in mind.
One thing where SSY has an upper hand is the rate of interest. It's 0.5% more than PPF, and you think, right, 0.5% makes a difference.
Definitely, because in compounding it makes a lot of difference. You may think
as and when the years go by.
Yes, definitely. It is of course more in the first place. Second, also the compounding makes a big difference. A negligible increase also
Correct.
makes a big difference in the overall maturity
tenure
process.
of time. Yeah. And also one more thing is that the contribution limit. So if you guys have seen our video on PPF for minors, then there we have specifically mentioned that when you do a PPF for a minor, of course for that scheme also the minor cannot handle and operate the account. So parent and the minor get a combined contribution of 1.5 lakhs. Forget the ATC deductions, but a contribution itself, if you do a PPF for your kid, yours and the kid's combined contribution itself is 1,50,000. Whereas in SSY, you can contribute 1,50,000 in SSY account, 1,50,000 in your own PPF account. So you get a 3 lakh contribution limit and compound interest on 3 lakhs if you are doing the highest amount of contributions, right?
Yes, definitely. So that is a big
advantage.
Definitely, and whoever is eligible, I think they should definitely opt for the SSY scheme, because it makes a lot of sense, and it is, you get a higher interest rate, it's compounded, it's tax free, or I don't know what more we can look out for.
Correct. And one more thing, see, under SSY or PPF, till the child is attaining that majority, age of 18, it is anyways handled by the parents. So what I feel is that when a girl child is born, open a SSY for her, because PPF anyways, if both the parents have, there's no point making one PPF for the child at that point of time, because the contribution that you get is combined 1.5 lakhs. So open an SSY for the girl child till she is 15 years of age, or if if you open the account when she's 1 or up to 3 years of age, till that 18 years you get that 15-year investment period. Put in 1.5 lakhs for till the 15-year investment period, and once the child attains the age of 18, then make a separate PPF account for her, and that 15-year period will start from then. So that is a kind of good investment option that we can give to our viewers, right?
Definitely. So you can take advantages of both these schemes.
Both these schemes
have different advantages, and why not? I mean, you can look at both of them, and if you're eligible for SSY, I think it's definitely a very good scheme.
And if you have male child, son, of course you can do PPF for them. So someone may ask us and of course that PPF you can keep renewing in a block of 5 years. So the male child is also not at a disadvantage or something, but for a daughter, what you can do is do an SSY. The advantage is you get an 1.5 lakh extra contribution and that 0.5% extra interest. So everything else, the moment she completes 15, if you want, you can do a PPF, but again, it will be on par with the male child. You both get a combined contribution and such stuff. But male child also don't feel that, oh, I have a son, what do I do now? Of course, you can do PPF for that kid as well. And once that kid attains the age of 18, you can renew it in the block of 5 years. But this scheme is really good for the girl child, because you and me watching this YouTube, we may feel that, oh, why only for a girl child? But please understand that even now a large part of India may feel that daughters are a burden, and so this scheme is specifically targeted towards financial planning of daughters, higher education and marriage. And if you see, even the withdrawal schemes are only in relation to higher education, and closure is only in relation to marriage. And if you also note one very small but important point, when they say it is the marriage of the daughter, they don't say it is a withdrawal. They say it's the closure. So, at the time of marriage, the girl child can just close this account and leave it behind her and utilize the money for marriage. And thereafter, she won't have a burden of investing into this. Okay. So, of course, if the marriage is after the maturity period, then the girl child, at the age of 21 or more, she gets that amount, those funds, and she can use it whatever way she wants. But if there is a marriage before the maturity period, then this account can be closed. It is not called withdrawal anymore, it's called closure. So shows specifically how this scheme is targeted towards planning for the higher education and marriage of girl child. And maybe that's the reason why there is 0.5 interest rate more to encourage people to go into this and to help higher education of girls and to help in the marriage of girls. So this is our video about the SSY. If you have any doubts, you can definitely let us know in the comment section, and as far as possible, we will definitely try to get back with our clarifications. Thank you.
Thank you very much.